Alright, I think we can get started. Let me know if you can hear me and all that fun stuff. Huzzah! Hello everybody, welcome, and welcome to the new faces. This will be a relatively short-ish meeting. I have another meeting soon, so meeting marathons, fun times. So we'll try and get through as much as we can today. So just to get this out of the way, there are a few things that we have to, discuss beforehand. There are certain topics and information that we cannot discuss in this meeting. This includes any sort of appeals for suspensions, warnings, terminations, any sort of information or outcomes of any open or past abuse reports, that kind of thing. So this is mostly intended to be an open Q&A for the types of things that my team handles, so people can get a better understanding of what we do and maybe some guidance on how to handle some issues. That is all there. So with that said, I will let you guys go ahead and start asking questions. If you're not comfortable speaking in voice, you don't have to. You can feel free to type it. That's perfectly fine. So yeah, I will open the floor to you guys. So if anybody has any questions, fire away. No, nobody has anything today? How to report bots that are clogging up Sims. Yeah, you can go ahead and just report those through the abuse report tool, and we will take a look at them that way. If they are indeed, kind of abusing resources, all that stuff, you can put them in there. Category, let's see. Da, 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 da. There's a few in there that you can use. You could probably technically use object littering. That one would probably be the closest you can get since we don't actually have a bot category. But yeah, you can use any of the disturbing of the peace, object littering. That would probably be the closest one that you can get there. If you report them that way, we will take a look and see what they're doing, and educate, slap as necessary. And the other category was a bit of a nightmare for us on our side. It's just so much stuff in there. So don't think we'll be getting the other category, but there is always we're always looking for feedback of other categories that we could possibly add. I'm not directly in charge of adding them. That's not my thing, but so it doesn't necessarily deter from handling the report, but we prioritize them in a very specific way to make sure that we're getting the highest priority ones first. If you got, someone doing hardcore griefing or if it's age play, that kind of stuff, we want to make sure we're getting those first as opposed to people going, there's a leaf in my yard from my neighbor, that kind of stuff. So it's more of a thing on our side to prioritize. So that's why we have certain categories for what we do. But yeah, if you guys have any feedback for categories that you feel would be useful, definitely all ears. Yeah, you would hope that, but we get people filing stuff in the most weirdest of things, and we're like, how? Oh, okay. So it's always a challenge. Give people options, and they'll just pick random stuff. And no news right now on any AR classes. We are very, very swamped. Yeah. But as soon as we have any news on that, we'll definitely let everybody know. All that fun stuff. And nope, Lucy, there has been no changes on that front. Everything is business as usual.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
I think I heard a faint voice.
Okay, I'll speak up.
Oh, there we go.
Um,
I was like, oh.
okay. What about all the names that are COVID-19 and the virus that everybody is wearing? Can that be AR that when they bump you, it gives you the object?
Do we know what the object does, or is it just giving you an
It
object?
it gives you the COVID virus that goes on your shoulder so that it can be like if somebody else comes up to you and bumps it, it gives them the COVID object. And then it'll say like 54 infected, and then you bump into them, and then you get the object, the COVID object, and you click it, and you have it on you, and then somebody, yeah, and somebody else can bump it, and then they get it. It's up to them
Interesting.
to accept it, but it does offer them the object. If they click it or bump it, I'm not sure which, if it's bump or click, but it gives them the object.
It
Very
depends on
offensive.
what they're doing with it, or what the object is actually doing itself. If it's just bumping and adding to a counter, that's, it's not really a violation per se. It is a little distasteful, agreeable, but not necessarily a violation. I would probably like to see more about the object itself, just to take a look and see exactly what the object's doing. If it's just like a harmless little, hey, bumped here, add to the counter. Now you have this object that you can choose to accept or deny. It shouldn't be too big of an issue. Of course, if it's that irritating, you're more than welcome to, block them, ban them from the region, that kind of stuff. But from what I've heard about it so far, it doesn't seem like it's anything we are getting involved in right now, but it's pretty new. But if you have any examples of the object itself, you can always take a look and dig deeper into the object and see if there's anything in there that might violate the terms of service, or if it's anything that might be malicious.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. All right. Anybody else have any other questions? All right. What's your question? Cool. Thank you for that link. I'll have to check that one out. So about the forums, we are incredibly backlogged right now. So if there's some things that have been reported that are definitely, it definitely shouldn't be there, it's a chance that we just haven't gotten to it yet. We are very swamped and shorthanded. So fun times. But if there's anything that is reported that is indeed a violation of, the terms of service, the community guidelines, and, we reviewed it and we're like, yep, no, this is bad, we'll handle it as appropriate. And yep, business usual, just lots more of it, and yeah, just fun times. So we already had a pretty good mix of people who worked, either remotely from a home office or, in an actual office. To start with, this we're all over the place. But obviously with the whole situation going on right now, of course the company has taken steps to ensure that, we're all safe and healthy. So. Yep, we try. Every time I have a meeting with people, I tell them to wash their hands. So, so it's definitely interesting, that's for sure. No, not exactly there. So we are, even though there are, people who are working from home office doesn't necessarily mean that they can work any hours they want. We, depending on the department and what you do, might have a set schedule. So it's not like we could just roll out of bed at 2 a.m. and be like, what's going on? And then go and do some work, labor laws and all that stuff. So. All right, well, I got about 10 minutes to spare here before I have to go run away and such. So if anybody has any other questions, feel free. I'm pretty sure there's a flag for it. Oh god, what is it off the top of my head? Um, it usually gets flagged under harmful and disruptive content, if I can recall correctly. But if you come across something that you feel is probably not the best to have in the marketplace, you could definitely report it. But yeah, you gotta be careful too if it's like a combat HUD because there are things like that that can be used for griefing, but it's not really intended to be technically. But yeah, but you should be able to do so through. Let me pull up the marketplace real quick so I can. No, that's not that. But usually, if you go through and on the listing itself, there should be a flag option um, that you should be able to click, and it'll give you some drop downs and stuff like that. Unfortunately, we don't do any support with Firestorm, so I have no clue how you would unblock somebody on Firestorm. That would probably be a good question for anybody who uses Firestorm or Firestorm support. No worries. Here we go for you, Adam. I knew there was a knowledge base page somewhere, but if you need some pictures and more instructions on flagging an item, it's kind of near the bottom of that page. It has all kinds of fun stuff in there. I would have to take a look at the HUDs and the items to be sure, but we'll review an item, and if it seems like it's just nothing but just for griefing or crashing, it's not supposed to be like a little fun little item or a combat HUD or something like that, then we might take the make the determination to take it down. But it was like a little harmless little like, hey, I'm gonna shoot my friend with toilet paper. Nah. But yeah, things that usually have are definitely crashing people, that kind of stuff. Those are things that we're like, no. So if it does any of that, if it definitely crashes people, that kind of stuff, you can flag it and we'll take a look at it. An ad sign that's slightly overhanging abandoned land. I mean, it could be arable. Those things, especially if it's like, just some slight encroachment that's, not too hardcore, we usually recommend, of course, contacting whoever owns the object and be like, hey, can you move this over? But of course, if it's a Linden owned object, that kind of thing, you can file a ticket to land and they will be able to help there. No worries. And when in doubt, you can more than welcome to AR, and we'll take a look and see if we actually need to move anything and all that stuff. So, but we usually have people, or always tell people, like, hey, just contact them first, just to see, because some people might not even realize that their tree is, slightly over in someone's yard. Yeah, occasionally we get some good old neighbor wars that go on, and we're like, can you guys just stop? And they're like, no, they keep bothering my neighbors. My neighbor's bothering me, so I'm going to bother them back. I'm like, oh my god, guys. So, yeah, we get that from time to time. In the old days, you left a 50 by 50 sign. Yeah, we see those from time to time. Or one person, it was a part of some neighbor war that was going on, and this person they decided to they kept on upping the ante every time we had to go and get involved, and this person eventually ended up putting up like a ton of mega prims that were like a hot pink and were set on like a reser. So they would just keep popping back, and they just stacked them straight into the sky. We're like, oh my god.
Wow.
What are you doing? Yeah. People get creative in their ways of just being disgruntled neighbors instead of just being like, hey man, let's be cool. But, okay, cool. Thanks, Ilya. I will have to take a look at that. Curious. I'm glad to hear that. Kira? I'm not really sure. I apologize. I probably butcher everyone's name in Second Life, and just in general. All right. Well, any last minute questions before I have to wrap it up for the day? All right, cool, awesome. Well, thank you guys for swinging by and all that fun stuff. I will be updating the wiki for our next meeting, so keep an eye out for updates on that and fun stuff. There's a link again for y'all reading pleasure. All that fun stuff. You can also check out, there's more user group dates if you go around there. I could do a full calendar, but my schedule's very up in the air with depending on my availability, so that's why it's, the way it is. So if I tried to do a full calendar, I would have to redo it because things come up. So, but yeah, I will catch you guys next time, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. Wash your hands, stay clean, all that fun stuff. And catch y'all later.